On the 14th day of Eurus cleansing, the coronation of Crown Prince Dominic Wolfsbane was set to take place. People came from all over the 5 kingdoms to witness this momentous occasion, for it would be the first succession of the throne in history. The city bustled with life, and as the sun began to set, the city sat in silence. The doors of the great temple groan as they open. The archbishop stands at the dais, a cardinal on his right, and the archmage on his left. The paladin of the church enters first, approaching the archbishop, and draws his sword, setting its tip on the marble floor. Following him are 10 royal guards. The imposing figures of the gods look upon the ceremony as the crown prince enters the temple and the doors close behind him. His footsteps echo as he approaches the dais and kneels. The ceremony commences, and Dominic Wolfsbane is crowned as the 2nd High King of Andalusia. He stands and turns to address the people in the temple, but as he opens his mouth to speak, no words are spoken. His face goes slack in shock before twisting in pain as he looks down to see a familiar blade protruding from his chest. The blade of the paladin of the church, his mentor, Sir Roderick Gideon. As his body falls through the floor, the quiet chatter of the crowd falls silent. The crown rolls off the head of the slain king, stopping near the middle of the temple. The royal guards are quickly dispatched by priests hiding in the shadows of the statues. Chaos erupts as people begin to run out of the galleries. The unfortunate few that were standing near the railing of the upper floors are pushed by the crowd, falling to their death on the floor below. City guards bar the exits, cutting down the few that manage to slip past. Deep within the temple, a few guards loyal to the king, along with a few civilians, are escorted by a cardinal through the dimly lit halls to a library. He pulls a book off a shelf, and it swings open, revealing a passage down. Speaking quickly, he directs them to Lindheim Forest, where they might find refuge from the slaughter. The group makes their way into the tunnel, following the mage lights on the wall to what might be their salvation. Darkness, nothingness, unending void. These are what remain when the light of the world has been snuffed out. Within this darkness, the things that once lurked in shadow begin to grow, thriving on the death and decay within their newfound domain. It is not until all is lost, when it seems that nothing will return to the way it once was, that a new light appears. A small, flickering flame fighting to stay alight. A ray of hope. Something that will not so easily be cast aside by those who come upon it, for they have experienced light once before, and they will do whatever they can to turn this small flame into a raging bonfire, pushing back against the darkness. Oftentimes this hope is found in the unlikeliest of places, nurtured by the unlikeliest of people. In this particular time of strife, we find ourselves in a forest, in a ruined manor, where an unlikely group of people are fighting for their lives against a foe in the form of a creature that has long since been thought extinct. A foe in the form of a dragon. The dragon rears up, and a cloud of green gas falls over the courtyard that the two of you are standing in. I'll need both of you to make me a DC 17 Wisdom save.
Got a 17.
I got a 12.
If your save was below 17, you take 17 points of poison damage, and on a successful save, you take half of that at 9. That is the dragon's turn. Next up is Simon.
Oh god. And he just reels up and starts flailing his whip trying to kill this thing. That's a nat 1.
Unfortunately, as you and I both know, natural ones don't hit. Any bonus actions?
Yeah, I'll do a quick draw toss with my dagger using my last superiority die. That's a 24 to hit, for 15 points of piercing damage.
Alright. Yeah, you toss your dagger, it embeds in the chest of the dragon. He roars again. And Gil, that will be your turn.
Alright. Gil's going to pull out his bow and take a shot. And I will be using the sharpshooter function, so -5 off that. Is a 14 going to hit?
It is not.
Ooh, that sucks. Bonus action, Gil is going to whistle a sharp pitch, and his drake will fly down and attempt to bite the dragon.
Gil fires off an arrow, narrowly missing the dragon, followed quickly by his drake, which swoops down, attempting to tear through the dragon's scales with its teeth, but it's not able to land more than a scratch. The dragon lumbers towards both of you, swinging its tail as it approaches for an attack against Simon. Is a 13 going to hit?
Negative.
Alright, it swings its tail, narrowly missing as you duck under it, leaving you in a pretty good position to attack. That'll be your turn.
I'm going to make an attack, again, with my whip. That's a 17 to hit for 11 points of damage.
Yeah, you strike out with your whip and it cracks in the air as it hits the dragon and tightens around its neck. You pull it taut and the dragon, struggling for breath, finally breathes its last and falls to the ground, dead.
He's going to pull out his short sword and stab it through the brain just to be sure.
Now that the dragon is dead and the fight is over, what does Simon look like?
You see a young gentleman, about 5'9"-ish, with a dark green cloak, wearing a mask over his lower face. He has long dark hair with bright yellow eyes, and he looks like he's having a very bad day.
Yeah, so before this fight started, there were about 5 or 6 other people that had escaped earlier with you. All of them were killed at the beginning of this fight. The only reason you survived is because you hid behind a wall. Eventually, though, this random ranger showed up and you had the realization that either you would fight with him and kill the injured dragon, or stay where you were, letting the dragon kill him before it found and killed you.
Seems like a logical choice.
That ranger being Gil, go ahead and describe your character.
Gil is a slightly taller individual, standing at 6'3". He has long brown hair that hangs down to his shoulders, along with unshaven face from his time in the forest. He's wearing standard hide gear, which looks handcrafted. Perched on his shoulders is a small blue drake, which he is affectionately named Runa. Currently, he is just standing at the zombie dragon, thankful that Kevin is finally dead.
So, looking around, you can see that you're in a set of ruins. In the middle of the area you're in, there's a dining table with a few chairs around it. In 3 of the chairs, there are bodies that are perfectly preserved, and in another chair is a skeleton. All except for one of the bodies is dressed in fine clothing like you would normally see on a noble of some sort.
Well, Gil's gonna go over to the other man that he was just fighting with, check up on him, make sure he's alright.
Oh god! It's one thing after the other. Of course it's a Tuesday. It's always Tuesday. Oh, hello, mysterious stranger.
What were you doing here?
Oh, you know, just having a grand old time. Ain't that right, kid? Kid? Start looking around for my ward, I guess.
You see this child, an 11-year-old girl, sitting at a chair at the table. She seems to be sleeping or something, but you are not 100% sure.
Okay, up we go. And I just look at this taller gentleman. How much of a wild man from a scale of 1 to 10 am I looking at right now?
It's all 7 to 8.
Alright. Well, to answer your question, we're running for trouble, and apparently trouble has discovered us once again. Hold that thought. Kid! And I start going towards the table and about to try to shake her awake.
As the man starts walking towards the table, Gil presses his hand against their back, saying a druidic incantation, casting Cure Wounds on him, and you get back 9 health.
Simon and or Gil, if you'd like to make a medicine check on the people at the table, you are more than welcome to.
17?
Ugh. 7.
So, with the 17, you're able to tell that the bodies are in almost perfect health. There's nothing wrong with them, and the poison from the dragon fight doesn't seem to have affected them at all. However, upon closer examination, it's clear that they're not sleeping, but are instead under some sort of spell or curse. As you're examining the girl, she takes a deep breath as she wakes up. Shivani, go ahead and describe your character for us.
Who you see is an 11-year-old girl with long, scraggly black hair. She's pale, more so like she's malnourished than someone who doesn't get any sun. She's short, like 4'9". She's wearing a dirty green dress with black boots and a battered set of black armor, with the boomerang stuffed into one of her boots. As soon as she gets Simon off of her, she checks her pocket to see if Mouse is okay.
Yeah, the mouse is perfectly fine. You also find the coin along with him that was given to you by the cardinal that had helped you guys escape originally. He didn't really tell you too much about it, but you feel like it has some sort of use. You're not sure what it is yet.
What does it look like?
On one side of the coin, it's a 3-tiered fountain, and on the other side it is a drop of water, both of which you recognize as marks of the goddess Circe.
I'll put it back in my pocket and just what happened?
And you see across the table from you, the other 2 bodies are also wide awake now, just kind of staring completely in shock at the 3 of you, as well as the dead body of the dragon.
Oh, good, you're awake.
I'm leaning on the table now and turn around and say, "Who's alive? Who's alive? Roll call."
You see another kid, a 14-year-old boy and a 20-year-old woman, who you presume is his sister or something, raises his hand just before the woman pushes it back down. Excuse me, but who are all of you? Other than Reitha, we've met in Maze.
This is my friend. This is Simon. And I don't know the mountain man.
Name's Gil. And my little companion here is Bruna. She gives a little chirp.
Well, I'm Lillian. And I'm Reggie. What happens? This was our home. Shouldn't be in this state.
That's a big question, and I'm just gonna have this... Man, this table looks real comfortable right now. I'm just gonna sit on the table, lay down for a sec.
Wait, let me get you. I mean, yeah, I'll cast a quick little healing word.
Please don't. Please don't.
It'll be fine. It's just a little one. It won't do anything. You get 7 points of healing.
That was not a little one I just fought, and I'm not ready for it.
Roll your wild magic die for me, if you'd be so kind.
17.
You cast your magic. What does it look like when you cast magic?
It looks like little fireflies. Some motes of green light float towards Simon and land on him before flickering and vanishing. And you feel better. I think maybe we should get out of here. I just passed out on a dinner table. You got attacked by a dragon. I look at Gil. You look like you know your way around here. Do you know somewhere we could stay?
Gil is going to nod at Reitha. I have a home not far from here. But before that, we need to dispose of this thing. He gestures to the dragon.
But before we leave, how long were we in the maze? I think she means, what year is it? Last we checked, assuming we're in the year 632, our house was still standing.
What year are we in?
Currently it is the year 662.
Oh, no.
Oh boy, okay. Yeah, you've been gone for a long time. Yeah. I got no better way to explain this.
Like 30 years.
As those two are breaking the news to the two innocents, Gil is unceremoniously stabbing an arrow into the head of the dragon, and making a click noise with his mouth. Runa will shoot a bolt of lightning to catch the arrow on fire, to burn at the dragon.
Yeah, the arrow catches fire, and not so much an orange flame, but once it touches the body of the dragon, it spreads extremely quickly to, throughout the body of the dragon and onto the ground. A kind of greenish flame rushes out and quickly dissipates. And you hear what sounds like a clattering of bones falling to the floor or from somewhere in the manor.
Did I know which direction the bones clattered from?
It was in a bunch of different directions.
Could Gil do an investigation check on all the surrounding bodies, and including the burn scourge from the dragon?
Yeah, sure. What exactly are you looking for?
But it's just anything useful off the dead bodies, because he is a scavenger. And just to, if he recognizes, what happened to the dragon at all as something that he possibly would have known in the past.
Yeah, go ahead and make me that investigation check.
Investigation is 21.
Alright, so with the 21, you find the bodies of the guards. Most of their gear was kind of crushed underneath the dragon. But you do find a couple of usable daggers and short swords, as well as a couple of loose bones from the dragon that you might be able to sharpen and turn into arrows.
Yeah, Gil will grab the bones, and he will grab 2 of the daggers.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. Come on. Let's go. You don't want to stay here. I don't want to stay here. Come on. Let's go.
As we're leaving, I'll ask Reggie, do you know if you might have any surviving family anywhere else?
Maybe our uncle is still alive, but I doubt he would believe us. He's not exactly into the whole magic thing.
I mean, seeing is believing. He can see that you haven't changed and would know things that no imposter should know.
Well, to be fair, he didn't exactly like our father all that much, so he may not be too happy about seeing us, so we will probably want to avoid him, at least for the time being.
Am I hearing this? Just a curious question.
Yeah, this is just 2 kids talking, pretty much. They have no filter or sense of privacy.
Can I roll an insight check on this? Because this is a little bit, man. They roll with that punch real quick. It's been 30 years, and where's the shock?
Well, Lillian is still fully shocked, completely silent, trying to process this. Reggie is 13 years old and much quicker to believe things.
I'm sorry that everything happened the way that it did.
As Reitha continues talking with Reggie, Gil leads all of you deeper into the forest, and eventually a small cabin comes into view. It seems fairly well built, with a chimney on one side indicating a fireplace inside, and nearby you can see a river flowing past the cabin, eventually going out of sight.
What time is it at this point?
Right now it's getting close to dark. The sun has begun to set, but you can still see some rays of light shining through the canopy above you.
Maybe we should get some dinner and sleep. I think we could all use some rest.
Rest is nice. Dinner is a luxury. you know this. I have some rations on me, so we at least can split those up. It's not the best, but it's at least something.
Is she still, like, completely gone? Like, not there?
Who, Lillian?
Yeah?
She's still trying to process everything that happened. There is a very small amount of people that could harness magic as powerful as the one that created the subdimension that they were trapped in, let alone one that could alter the passing of time.
I'll walk up to her, like, walk close by her and be like, if you need something to make this easier, I can cast something on you to calm you down so you can understand better what happened.
She just kind of nods.
I'll cast calm emotions on her.
Sure. Go ahead and just, roll that wild magic for me.
8.
How would you describe How would you describe Reitha's emotional state currently?
I think she's just feeling sad for these two people and hungry. Yeah.
So are we at lawful, neutral, or chaotic?
Neutral, I think. I think she's more externalizing her emotions right now. She's just had a crazy day, been in a maze, found people who'd been there for 30 years. She's kind of just like, I think people have more shit going on than I do right now, so I'm gonna...
Yeah, go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
12.
And roll a d4.
2.
Yeah, you cast the magic, and she willingly fails to say, allowing her emotions to be calmed, and you notice her erratic breathing just kind of slows down and becomes slightly calmer, and she just says, thank you. Your eyes are different.
My eyes?
And Simon, hearing this, you turn to look at Reitha and you notice that her eyes are now teal and they are glowing just a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie, that might work for you.
What? What's wrong with my eyes?
Well, I go into my pocket and pull a hand mirror and just hand it to her.
Oh, I kind of like it.
It works. It works.
Helps with reading books at night.
Yeah, and your eyes, it's not just the iris that changed, it's like your entire eye is just teal.
Oh, like full sclera.
Yes.
Oh.
Completely.
Oh, it's just a flat color that is glowing.
Like no iris eyeball thing, just full teal.
Yeah, just flat teal. Kind of sparkly.
You'll be fine.
Strange stuff just happens sometimes when I do stuff, I guess.
It's an understatement. Just keeps following Gil after saying that.
Reggie just kind of looks at you. Yeah, you might want to get that checked out.
What, my eyes?
All of it. And he just continues walking towards the cabin with the other two. Gil gets a fire going and pulls out a couple of rabbits that he had skinned earlier that he got interrupted from doing by the sounds of a dragon attacking.
Well, don't mind me as I lift the cuffs off a little bit and showing off some bracers. I'm going to set us up so we don't get jumped by any wildlife. And he will pull like a silvery thread off the bracer and start setting the perimeter around us as he's setting up alarm.
Nice. I can sit for a while and take watch while you guys sleep. I just slept a lot. So.
Dinner first, and then we worry about that.
Okay.
Also, if anything here, and I'm like mid-pool and I start shaking off my bag, get the tent up.
Okay. I'll start helping.
So Gil's just watching with a very curious look. Yes, they're doing everything. You do realize I have a cabin. It's right over there.
Oh, you had a cabin?
Oh, nice.
Never mind. Alright, so I'm still doing the wire trick, but I guess around the house perimeter.
Wait, can we stay in your cabin? I guess we're kind of just assuming, but I think the polite thing is to ask Simon.
What?
Yes, you can stay.
Okay. Never mind, Simon.
What?
Keep doing your thing, Simon!
What? I'm already behind the house.
So Gil, I will say, when you were examining the bodies of the dead people under the dragon, you did notice that they were wearing the crest of the royal house of the High King.
Gil's gonna take that to note, but it's really not his area to ask questions or imply anything. Especially because he doesn't really know much about the world outside of this forest.
So you all kind of file into the house, and Gil, as you're about to close the door, you see a blue fox just sitting by a tree about 20 yards away.
Do I see this? I have a passive perception of 14.
You do not.
Gil will just call out to the people inside his place right now, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do some stuff.
So Gil, you walk out into the forest, and eventually you come into a clearing. Above you, the sky is very clear, not a cloud in sight. It's still slowly getting a little bit darker. You can just barely see a couple of stars starting to peek out. And the blue fox, as it walks up to a rock, transforms into an elven woman with long brown hair, with a laurel wreath on her head, in a blue dress. So it's dead.
Yes. Had some help, but we were able to put it down a few hours ago. Burned it as well.
Thank you. It was a blight on the forest. The seer in the tree has said that he has a message for you. And the seer in the tree, you've only ever met him once before, and that was when you first arrived in the forest.
I haven't heard from him in years. Is there a reason?
He always has a reason.
Where is he?
She points to a path off to her right, going just a little bit deeper into the forest, away from the manor. And you notice that behind her are a couple of hands. Once you come back, I'll have some honey bread for you.
Sounds delightful. And Gil will start heading off down the path. Kinda not anxious, but curious.
You make your way down the path, and after a few minutes, you come to a much larger tree than most of the forest. It's a large oak tree, and in its trunk you can see what looks like the sleeping face of a man.
Hello?
He opens his eyes and blinks.
I was told you want to speak with me, and you had a message.
Indeed. It's been many years since we last talked. I still remember when Godric brought you here. I believe a new chapter in your story is beginning. I've had a vision. One that's... I'm not sure how to interpret. The people that you're with now. It's time for you to leave the forest.
What? You just want me to leave?
He doesn't answer, he just closes his eyes.
Gil he's not almost in awe, being allowed to live where he has and suddenly being told that he must go is a notion that he'll have to trust, but he's not sure why. But he does leave back down the path towards the elven druid.
And you come back into the clearing. You smell some sweet pastry that she baked and walk over to her. Not bad news, I hope. You look worried.
I have to leave. Everything I've done and built here is... I have to go now, or I have to go with these people that I found in the manor.
She stands there silently for a second and says, I see. Well, he always has a reason. She just puts a hand to your cheek. You will be missed.
He leans into her touch, the familiar warmth of it. I will miss this place. Hopefully my journey and future that he has seen won't keep me from here too long.
Of course. And you see her kind of wipe a tear as she turns away. The honey bread. And she hands you a couple of pastries wrapped in a cloth.
Gil takes it appreciatively, nods to her.
And you make your way back to your home where Simon has basically taken over the fire and is cooking your skinned animals to get some dinner going.
Kate, stop playing with the fire already. This is the 5th time now. Stop.
Just changing colors.
You want this? You want burnt food or you want good food? That's what I thought.
I'm bored.
You're bored? Treat the wounded!
What wounded? I treated you. Do you want one more?
Honestly, no.
At this point, Gil walks in the door and sees all of this happening.
Welcome back. Food's almost ready.
Thank you.
Hey, you're the one that caught it. I'm just helping out here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Reggie kind of looks over. What smells good? Not the rabbit. It's something else. Something sweet.
A gift. It's hard to live alone in a forest without friends.
Do you have friends here?
Yes.
But friends who bake. That's cool.
Did you get the Simon slowly turns? Did you get that from a hag?
Are hags the only people who live in a forest?
Stories say yes.
Do I look like a hag?
Oh, yeah, no. That doesn't make sense. Sorry.
Lillian looks over. Is that honey bread from Lady Aelwith?
Gil hesitates slightly. Do you know her?
She was a friend of our family's.
Makes sense.
Who's Aelwith?
She's an elf that lives in the forest.
A what?
An elf.
Oh.
A what?
Why doesn't she join us for dinner?
He's not a fan of this.
Simon eventually serves up the food and the pastries are passed around.
Alright, if anyone tastes anything burnt, we'll aim it on her.
I didn't do anything to it.
You were playing with the fire.
It's harmless. It's just like a little thing to make it different colors.
We are in a cabin. I'm buying you a puzzle book or something when we get to another town.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and you all eat your meal, and it's probably about 8, 9 o'clock now. You are all basically exhausted from the events of the day.
I think we're gonna be good for Gil. Do you have the last name? I don't want to be weird here.
Gil is my last name.
What's your first?
Horace.
What was that?
Horace.
Horace?
Yes.
Horace, I'm just gonna ask you this right now. How secure is your cabin?
Very.
Very? Alright. I put an alarm that sounds like a dying animal, so if anything happens, we'll all wake up and at least we'll see who's our murderers at night. I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Me too.
It has been a day. Y'all might want to get a history lesson on what happened in the last 24 hours. Did we speak about that? Yeah. And as a dinner table discussion or no?
Yeah, I would say so. You've kind of covered the events of the coup that happened in the capital and the fact that the High King is dead, and as far as you know, there is no successor.
I have a strong feeling we are going to see a very new world when the day breaks. And I want my rest before that happens. So good night, everyone.
And you'll go to bed.
I will say that I do take some of the dream root before I go to bed, because it's been a challenging day.
Of course you would.
Yeah, you all go to bed, and each of you have your own dream. Reitha, you open your eyes in this dream state, fully aware of what's happening because of the dream root dust. And you see what looks like an angel with two white wings coming out of its back. You can't exactly make out its face, but it seems to be holding back a tide of what look like demonic creatures flooding out from a gate. On its breastplate, you can see that there is a symbol of a star bursting, which you recognize as the pendant that you wear around your neck. The scene shifts and you find yourself back in the field of ashes. The smell of burnt flesh still lingering in the air. This was the last sacrifice before you and the rest of the Chosen were sent out to each find your own way. And the scene shifts one more time to the room that you all stayed in. And first Jane leaves, and then Lona, but as Lona begins to leave, she comes over to you and presses something into your hand. You look down and you see a starburst pendant as well as a piece of paper. The slip of paper just reads 3 words. Don't trust him. And then you fall out of the dream. Simon, you find yourself standing in front of a large mansion. It's extremely extravagant, something that you never would have dreamed of with your life as a thief. And you see the face of your mentor kind of beckoning you towards the doors. But you feel something off, something cold behind you. You turn around and you feel a hand grasp your arm, and you look down at the dying body of your mentor, a dagger bloody in your hand. You look around and the mansion is gone. You're standing in the middle of that night where there was a massacre of the people that you call your family. And then you wake up from the nightmare. Gil, your dream is rather familiar. It's become something of a recurring dream over the past few nights. You find yourself as a child holding the hand of the man you know as your father, walking away from the city. But this time you look back instead of going all the way towards the forest, and the warmth of the hand disappears. You're back in your own body, standing in what looks like some sort of temple surrounded by 8 imposing statues. On the ground in front of you is a crown. As you reach down to grab it, the scene melts around you, and you're left in just a void, the crown in your hand. You all wake up the next morning, and Reitha, as you wake up, you feel the pendant that Lona gave you slightly warm against your neck, and as you reach up to feel it, you find a feather caught in your collar.
What type of feather?
Just a white feather.
Does it look like the angel?
You're not sure. You didn't really get a very clear vision of the angel, but it does seem to be the same bright white of the wings.
I will, as soon as I wake up and I think of the note, I will... Has that note ever appeared to a dream before? Have I actually received that note in life?
Yes, you have. That was more of a memory than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that you hadn't seen or experienced in that was the vision of the angel fighting against the demons.
Okay. How did the angel make me feel? Like, protected?
Not exactly protected. It was more of... You felt stronger in its presence.
Okay. I'll put the feather in my satchel, I guess, in my pack.
As Simon gets up, he grabs a dagger under his pillow. Then he does some over-exaggerated getting up from a bad dream sleep thing.
I'll pass him a water skin. Morning. Breakfast?
Gil wakes up a bit later, and not as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as some people are led to believe about forest goers, but he does come out, Runa perched up on his shoulder as usual, and he almost has a look of like he forgot he invited people in his cabin.
I will say this wouldn't have been the first time that you mentioned other people.
Morning.
We need to get you all out of the forest.
Yeah, that would be the case. Yeah, we don't have much in supplies.
Yeah, we were kind of just running for our lives.
I have good news then.
Oh yeah?
Well, I'm coming with, so we can grab what you need from here.
Coming? What?
Yeah.
Don't you live here?
Yep.
You don't have to do that.
Apparently I do.
I mean, I won't say no if you do. I mean, we can use a guide, don't get me wrong, but is it coming?
We don't have much to pay
Phil.
you.
I've lived without money for a while. I'm not in need of it. We'll just grab my we'll just grab whatever meats I have left and other supplies, and we'll head out.
Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. I'm still waiting for this. Okay, you're saying you're coming with us. You're saying you have to? Did I understand that right?
Yeah.
Why? Why? You...
Hey, if the mountain man wants to come with us, I say we just let him.
I don't mind, Mr. Gill. Like, you seem very polite and very nice. But just, we don't have anything we can give you for your protection and your help.
I'm fine with... Like I said, I'm not in need of money. And as to why and why I have to, let's just say I was told to by another friend in the forest, and it's best I just listen to them.
And I will say, when Godric brought you to the forest 20 years ago, he left a chest of coins with you in case you ever decided to leave. So there's just a dusty chest on your bed with 150 gold in it.
Dang. This man is loaded and he didn't even know.
Does he bring that out?
It's probably more... the image of just... yeah, Gil just walks out with a big old chest in his arms.
Why didn't you then just pop open the trunk and like, oh, I have so many questions for this. So many.
Well, good thing you don't need to ask them.
Right. Alright.
So Gil, I will say that you do know of a town about 10 to 20 miles outside of the forest to the southwest where your mentor originally lived.
I know of a village nearby. It's a distance, but there's someone there that we can talk to.
Okay, villages are nice. What's the place called?
It's called Leywin.
Alright, well, it's a town. It's a small village, right? That means supplies, that means maybe a smithy. We can get some more stuff set up.
Yes.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Probably. Hopefully.
And the five of you gather up what little you have and begin making your way southwest out of the forest towards the town of Leywin. You're still here? The show's over. We'll see you for the next one. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.